shoes.
Those aren't Crocs.
They're fake Crocs. That's the more epitome of idiocracy. You see what I'm saying?
Maybe. Where'd you get them at?
Like Walmart. So that's what I'm saying.
Don't count.
No, that's what I'm saying. It actually adds to it.
Unless like Walmart.
Because Crocs have become mainstream. Actually, the people buying these would be like meth heads that have 6 kids and cheat on their taxes.
So why wouldn't they cheat on their wives? Why they got to cheat on their taxes? What does that have to do with meth?
If you're going to cheat on one thing, you might as well cheat on everything. A cheater's a cheater.
So you're saying if you cheat on taxes...
if you cheat on your wife, you're probably going to cheat on your taxes.
What, it doesn't work the opposite way?
Huh?
What if you cheat on your taxes? You going to cheat on your wife?
Possible. Not as highly likely, but possible.
Oh, okay.
I mean, you're going to cheat. Depends on how much you like your marriage. But I mean, I'm talking about somebody that ain't even married. You got a baby mama. That's why I didn't even go straight to cheating on wife. What I'm saying is, they picked Crocs because they looked futuristic and it was stupid, and nobody was wearing them.
Yes.
But now everybody's wearing them.
Yes.
And Crocs are like $50, which I don't think represents the vast majority of stupid people. They ain't gonna spend. They may be stupid, but they ain't gonna spend $50 on Crocs. I guess it's depending on white collar idiots versus blue collar idiots. Blue collar idiots are gonna buy these. Yes. Intellectual idiots are gonna buy Crocs.
Right.
And so I'm representing the blue collar idiots of idiocracy. That's why. If it was the actual more brand, I think that would hurt your case, the idiocracy case. I mean, I don't know. It depends on where you consider idiocracy. Like, is idiocracy more in the realm of intellectuals that are stupid? You know what I'm saying? Is that more damning to society? Into people who are intellectuals but they're brainwashed? Or is it meth heads in trailer parks? You know what I mean?
Maybe, yeah.
Well, I'm asking you, which you think's more damning to society?
I don't know. It depends. Depends on numbers. Like,
I think they're about equal.
And control. Well, I mean, all right. So, like,
let's say it's equal.
If you have an intellectual who's maybe has flawed reasoning, and they're controlling things at a high level because they have a high intelligence, then that could be really damaging. Yeah. But if you have a lot of people who are really into meth, like the majority of people in the country, that could be really damaging. So it depends, like who's got like either one's structurally powered, right? Because I feel like there's fewer intelligent people than there are people who just sort of aren't. Yeah. But if there are more dumb people, that's probably more damaging.
So so
it depends. Like, are your intelligent people without reasoning at the top in government officiating things? Yeah. Or are there just so many meth heads that, like, you know,
it wouldn't matter.
It's like a horde of zombies, dude. Yeah. It's like, what are you going to do?
Is that? What is that?
Looks like my phone's ringing. My brother calling. You were saying?
Welcome to PipeCast. On this episode, we'll be covering Patriot Flake by Dan Tobacco. Let's take a look at that blend. Alright, what we have here is Dan Tobacco's Patriot Flake, part of the American History Mixtures. I'm going to read a short description from tobaccoreviews.com. A tribute to the brave men and women who fought for freedom. This tobacco features U.S. Virginia grades and Virginia tobaccos from Mysore, with additional fermentation under pressure. It is pressed aged, sliced thin, and kept in flake form, easily rubbed out. This blend has an excellent cool burn with a satisfying, rich but smooth flavor, medium strength. So this is another straight Virginia. You can see it looks like it might lean a little brighter than red, but it's pretty well balanced. I mean, you can see the different coloring space throughout. A little pops of bright here, but then these edges are a little bit lighter. So it looks like a very well put together Virginia flake. So let's see how it smokes. So that was a blend. So what is this? Yeah, this is the fourth Dan tobacco that we've done. This is another part of the American history mixtures.
But also kind of like this weird tribute we've been doing to straight Virginias.
Yeah, it kind of works well in there. So this is happens to be Memorial Day when this video drops, and we're in this little, what'd you say, all the roads of Virginia.
Yeah, I mean, just
the road to Burley is paved in Virginia.
The road to Burley is paved in Virginia. I like that.
I think you said it.
Did I say that?
That's just like him. He says something cool, waits for somebody else to remember that he said it, brings it up and be like, I like that.
I don't take credit for my own stuff because I don't remember if I did it. But yeah, the road to Burley is paved in Virginia.
At least in 2023 it is.
Yeah, so, but it is kind of like with this weird Virginia send-off, like.
Yeah. Which, I'm loving it because I love Virginia.
Yeah, Virginia's good.
It's still getting a little warm, though, for me. And, hotter it gets, the less inclined I am to pipe it up. But I'm pushing through this year because it's going to be Burley Boy summer. Mm-hmm. So we got to, we got to smoke. So.
Well, if you're going to smoke something in the summer, it's Burley in Virginia.
Yeah.
That's my opinion.
Yeah.
And this is the time of year that you want to crack out your straight Virginias, your Webers, yeah, and then just really go to town. Because I feel like they're light enough, that once again, I think I said it on the last video. There's something about smoking straight Virginia or maybe the Hamburger Beermeister. There's something about smoking Virginia on the water too that's really nice.
Mm-hmm.
So, get out on your boats or your kayaks and crack open a thing of Virginia. But that's not really this conversation. This is Patriot Flake.
Yeah, this is Patriot Flake. So, interesting story about Patriot Flake. I purchased Patriot Flake. You had purchased Beermeister. And, before we decided to record, we kind of got together, split up the tobacco, traded it and all that stuff. And so I smoked Beermeister and this together. I smoked Patriot first. And I really liked it. I thought it was a very, very good blend, very in line with like HH Pure Virginia. And then I smoked Beermeister, and I'm like, man, this is just a little too subtle for me. It's just not enough happening. But upon returning, every time I returned back to both of them, they started to shift. Mm. And I started to like Beermeister more, and I started to like Patriot less. And so I think Patriot kind of does wander in that between Peterson and HH. It's not. I think it's better. I didn't want to say it in our last video because we hadn't reviewed Patriot yet. Mm-hmm. But I think Patriot Flake is better than Peterson Flake. It's still debatable to me if it's better than HH, but it's got all the stuff you really want, and it's not terribly muted. It's got that little bit of spice here and there. It's got that the hay. I actually pulled it out. I don't know what I did with it. I we have to take a little bit of notes from time to time now that we do things kind of out of sync here. But it's got a lot of those hay-like qualities that you can associate with Peterson Flake. But I think they're elevated a little bit more, not as muted. And it's a very consistent blend. I think it's solid throughout the bowl. I've only had one bowl that kind of was a little harsh for me. And again, I think that was probably me not giving it time to prepare. And maybe I didn't let it dry enough. And then I was kind of really puffing on it to get it going. And, things like that. So I think it's a solid blend. Dan Tobacco really hasn't failed us too much. Like I said, maybe Bill Bailey's kind of was a fail for me, but maybe if I'd kept smoking it, maybe I'd like it a little bit more. But everything since then, Midnight Ride, Beermeister, and this, they've been solid blends.
Yeah.
So I mean, I can't say a bad thing about this blend. It's just, maybe one critique, maybe, and you may bring this up, is it might be a little bit more on that realm of it may have gotten
artificially sweetened or sugared up to cover up. But I doubt it because, I mean, every blend so far with Dan Tobacco, the tobaccos have been good.
Mm-hmm.
So the tobacco itself is good. So I don't know if they needed to do that, but it definitely does. It does pack more of a punch than Beermeister does.
I think so. Yeah, I think it's definitely. Well, one thing I can say about Dan Tobacco is it doesn't seem like the tobacco suffers any. But this is another one of those Peterson Flake scenarios where it's like, yeah, it's good.
Yeah.
But that's about all I'm going to tell you. I think if you venture out from this or Peterson, you're going to find better straight Virginias. They have both of them have a similar quality to them, in that they're Midland in their flavor profile, but as you mentioned, it is sugared or something, because there is sort of like a sweetness that peaks and it sort of stays high flying, which I think is dangerous because this is not, when I say dangerous, you'll puff on this one to get that sweet flavor, or that's my guilty pleasure, right? But this one you can't be puffing on.
Mm-mm.
This one tongue bites.
Mm-hmm.
And that is with any flake, you rub it out, maybe give it a little dry time. Even if it goes too far dry, I still get some tongue bite from this. And this is a more dangerous flake than Peterson. I think Peterson has a certain amount of like, yeah, you can get away with puffing away, and you're not going to really feel it. But, I don't think that Patriot Flake, I mean, I really do think Patriot Flake doesn't have that quality. There's something else inside, that kind of gives you a little bit more tongue bite, a little chemical burn, and I can feel it. So you have to kind of pull back just a little bit as you're puffing away, because the thing about tongue bite is it feels like it's not there sometimes. Then you feel a little twinge, and then boom, you're like, your tongue's on fire. You're like, okay, well, that wasn't a gradual thing as I thought it was.
Kind of like nicotine.
Right.
When you get a little too much nicotine, you feel it a little bit, and then next second, it's...
Right. But, I mean, like, once again, the tobaccos are great.
Mm-hmm.
I think that Dan Tobacco is another solid blending house, and that this blend is no different from the other ones. It's just that it's hard to make Virginia videos when you've had really good Virginias. It's just difficult. Other blends, if you've had them and you've had some of the better blends, it hurts other blends. And to no fault of the other blends, they're just competing on different levels,
Well, it's all about that experience, right? You can only gauge something based on the experience that you have. And, take it to movies, right? If you've never seen, I don't know, if you've never seen Blade Runner, you've never seen Jurassic Park, let's say, Terminator 2, you may think that Ant-Man and the Wasp, Quantumania is the best thing you've ever seen because you haven't seen anything better.
Right.
So,
Yeah, it is one of those things where it's like some of the blends that we've been doing lately aren't bad. They're just hurt by comparison.
Yeah.
And that's misfortunate because you don't want to be, well, PipeCast, I think, stance is we don't want to be super biased. We want to be upfront and honest. And then there are times like this where your bias accidentally shows through because you have a flavor profile that you favor.
Yeah.
Or there's something about a blend that really does elevate it to a point that you don't think is comparable to, say, Patriot Flake in this case.
Yeah.
I think Patriot Flake's good for a try, but I think if it were me and I'm recommending to you and you have similar tastes to Patrick and I, just buy 110 and see what happens.
Yeah.
But I think if you were to buy HH Pure Virginia, Samuel Gawa's Pure Virginia Flake, I think you'd find yourself not leaning towards this as something that you would reach for.
Yeah.
Especially knowing that Patriot Flake by Dan Tobacco has a tongue bite quality to it.
Yeah.
I would rather have tongue bite from a better blend, something that I actually prefer, than this. So in a way, I'm actually saying I would reach for Peterson Flake more than I would reach for Patriot Flake.
Yeah, and so that's one thing I didn't think about because, see, I'm someone who doesn't get tongue bite that often.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, and I don't just smoke Virginia in this, but this is my only P-lip pipe.
Mm-hmm.
And though I smoke Virginia in other pipes, I try to put it here on the off chance that maybe I will get it right now. So I usually don't get tongue bite often, and so that's kind of where you're going to differ. If you are someone that's more susceptible to it, yeah, I would say you definitely would be better served if you're going to get an entry level to Virginia to go Peterson Flake.
Mm-hmm.
But if you're more like me, maybe you have a P-lip that kind of alleviates any kind of chance of tongue bite. Or if you're just not susceptible to it as often, then I probably still would go HH Pure Virginia if you're going to go entry level. I think HH is better than this.
I do think Full Virginia Flake is a step up.
Yes, Full Virginia Flake's a step above the two. So I kind of think like HH.
It's going to be to be fair.
Yeah.
I do think that this is a round for round that you're going to have to deal with in terms of Virginias.
Yeah.
I think it will always ping pong back and forth between HH and Full Virginias, who's the heavier contender.
Yeah.
But I do think that Full Virginia has more tongue bite qualities.
Oh, okay.
Than HH Pure Virginia.
Yeah.
So this could be some
Okay.
Zach bias coming out.
Yeah.
But the two will contend,
Yeah.
I think.
Kind of like this one in Peterson on that lower level.
If you're trying to hit like the goat or the pillar of of Virginia Flakes, it's going to be down between HH Pure and Full Virginia.
And depending on your tongue bite,
that could be the deciding factor.
Yeah. And we
both have quality tobacco.
Yeah, and we've done a video on HH Pure Virginia if you haven't seen that one. That was early on. I think it was like our third or fourth video. And I think we left that video with you saying that you were going to spend more time with it before you could say one thing or the other.
I think I'm going to pick it over Full Virginia Flake.
Really? Okay.
But that's a tongue bite thing.
Not a
flavor thing.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
it's a pain in the butt having tongue bite and that kind of limiting your selection base. But then again, it's like I want to smoke. I don't want to be injured and have to resuscitate my tongue for a little bit.
Maybe you need to get a P-lipped filter pipe.
Maybe.
Just to see if that helps. Maybe not a filter. Maybe
just a straight filter is what I need.
Either that, yeah, because I have filter pipes and then I have the P-lip. I don't have one that's both. But I know the P-lip definitely helps. But the only thing is, if you may get what I've happened on occasion. You'll get top of the roof burn. It's up the roof of your mouth. Yeah. Like it changes, instead of it on the tongue, it goes to the roof of the mouth. But that's rare.
That's rare.
That's very rare. The only issue with filter, and I don't have this, but sometimes it mutes the flavor.
Mm-hmm.
It's never really muted. It depends on the blend, really. It can mute the flavor, and it may not.
I see. Okay.
But yeah, I mean, I would recommend. We didn't even show you the. I don't know where it went. Do you know where that tin went?
It's none of.
We'll be right back. Yep. But yeah,
that's Patriot Flake. It's nice tin art. I think Dan Tobacco tin art's good if we're complimenting.
Yeah, I mean, they definitely left room for that tobacco warning.
Yeah.
So yeah. So if you like Virginias and you want to try it all, try it. See if you like it.
Yes, sir.
I mean, it's a fine blend, but there's better.
Yeah.
So we'll see you on the next one.